Picture two people, same starting income, same city, same age. 10 years later, one has savings, investments, and options. The other is still living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where it all went. The difference wasn't luck. It wasn't even how much they earned. It was something nobody sat them down and explained. The psychology behind every dollar they touched. Today, we're breaking down the real blueprint for building wealth early in life, not through complicated formulas, but through understanding how your brain already works against you. This isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about installing the right mental software before bad habits get the chance to. If you're young, or you wish someone had told you this sooner, stay with us. This is the money mindset nobody teaches you before 18, and it starts with a single uncomfortable truth most people discover far too late. Your first real asset isn't money. Here's something most financial advice skips entirely. In your teenage and early adult years, your most valuable resource isn't cash, it's time and attention. Psychologists call this human capital, the skills, knowledge, and habits you're capable of building before financial pressure narrows your choices. Dumping a small amount of money into the stock market at this stage rarely changes your life. A few $100s won't make you rich, but losing it could shake your confidence around money for years. What actually compounds at this age is curiosity. Every skill you test, every subject you study, every mentor you observe quietly becomes leverage later. Think of this stage as research and development for the person you're about to become. The earlier you treat learning as an investment with real returns, the faster everything else, including your future income, starts multiplying. Money psychology begins here, long before your first paycheck. Why reading rewires? Your relationship with money. Most people inherit their money beliefs from their environment, not from logic. If nobody around you discussed saving, investing, or financial planning, your brain simply never built those pathways. This is where books become a quiet form of rebellion. Reading about personal finance isn't about memorizing facts. It's about exposing yourself to new mental models before life forces you to learn them the hard way. Authors who've already mapped out decades of financial behavior can hand you, in a few hours, lessons that would otherwise cost years of trial and error. This is sometimes called borrowed experience, absorbing outcomes without personally living through the mistakes. You don't need to read everything. You need consistent exposure to ideas that challenge how you currently think about earning, spending, and growing money. Over time, this reshapes your internal money script, the invisible rules running quietly behind every financial decision you'll ever make. The hidden cost of your first paycheck. There's a strange psychological shift that happens the moment you earn your own money. Suddenly, prices feel different. That expensive item you once dismissed becomes measurable in hours of work instead of dollars. Behavioral economists call this mental accounting, the way our brain assigns different value to money, depending on how it was obtained or what it's measured against. Your first job does something deeper than fill your wallet. It recalibrates your sense of value. Many people remember the exact moment they realized a luxury item equaled weeks of labor, and that realization alone changed their spending forever. This is one of the most underrated lessons in personal finance. The goal isn't simply earning more, it's understanding the true cost of your time. Once you internalize that every purchase is actually a trade of your life hours, decisions naturally start aligning with what truly matters to you. Finding the skill that compounds. Somewhere between your early experiments and your first real responsibilities lies a window many people miss completely. This is the ideal period to test different paths, not randomly, but with intention. Psychologists describe this as the difference between exploration and exploitation, spending early time discovering what genuinely fascinates you, before later focusing entirely on mastering it. The skill that excites you and proves valuable to others becomes what some call a compounding asset, something that keeps generating opportunity long after the initial effort. Most people never identify this clearly because they stop experimenting too soon, settling for whatever path felt safest. But comfort early on often costs far more later. The goal isn't to find something impressive, it's to find something sustainable, a skill that grows in value the longer you practice it. This single discovery often outperforms any investment portfolio you could build in your 20s. The number that quietly controls your future. At 18, an invisible score starts forming in the background of your financial life, and almost nobody explains how it works. Your credit history isn't about debt, it's about demonstrated trust. Lenders aren't judging your character, they're measuring predictability. 3 psychological habits build this trust fastest. Consistency, meaning paying on time without exception. Restraint, meaning never maximizing what's available to you. And patience, meaning understanding that trust accumulates slowly, over years, not weeks. People often avoid credit entirely, assuming it's risky, but ignoring it doesn't protect you. It simply delays a lesson you'll eventually need. Used with discipline, this system becomes a quiet advantage, lowering the cost of nearly everything you'll finance in life, from housing to opportunities you haven't imagined yet. The irony is that the people who need credit flexibility the least are usually the ones who built it earliest. Why future? You needs a decision today. Here's a mental exercise worth sitting with. Imagine your future self, decades from now, looking back at this exact moment. What would they want you to do with the money you have right now? This is the foundation of long-term retirement thinking, and it relies on one psychological force. Starting early outweighs almost everything else, including how much you actually contribute. The reason is compound growth, where your money begins earning returns, and then those returns start earning returns of their own. Someone who invests consistently for just a few years in their late teens can outperform someone who starts decades later and contributes far more overall. This isn't about complicated strategy, it's about removing hesitation. The version of you in retirement isn't asking for perfection today, they're simply asking you not to wait. Time, not timing, is the variable doing all the heavy lifting. Wealth isn't built through one dramatic decision. It's built through small, repeated behaviors that eventually become identity. The first habit is awareness, simply tracking where money goes, because what isn't measured tends to disappear without explanation. The second is protecting your physical and mental energy, since burnout and poor health silently drain both productivity and future income. The third, and most psychologically demanding, is practicing delayed gratification, choosing long-term stability over short-term comfort. Researchers have long studied this trait and consistently link it to stronger financial outcomes over time. None of these habits feel exciting in the moment. They rarely produce instant results. But identity shapes behavior more than motivation ever does. And once you start seeing yourself as someone who manages money intentionally, your decisions begin aligning with that identity automatically, often without conscious effort. Conclusion: everything we covered today isn't really about money. It's about the mindset running quietly behind every financial choice you'll ever make. The people who build lasting wealth aren't necessarily the smartest or the luckiest. They're simply the ones who understood their own psychology early enough to use it instead of fighting it. Time, identity, patience, and awareness. These are the real currencies behind every successful financial life. If this perspective shifted how you think about money, even slightly, that shift is the whole point. Here at Rewire Insight, we explore the psychology behind money, behavior, and personal growth. Every single week, breaking down the mental patterns that quietly shape our decisions. If you found value in this, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next deep dive into how your mind really works. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.